Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Saturday, July 22nd, 2017. The fire potential impacts for the next few days include an increase in thunderstorms moving up through the Great Basin. Generally wet thunderstorms will develop across the southern Great Basin this afternoon and move into central and east central Nevada late today and into the early overnight hours. On Sunday, that moisture will spread further north and west throughout the northern half of Nevada for a mix of wet and dry thunderstorms. And on Monday, that moisture moves further northward into southern Idaho for that mix of wet and dry thunderstorms. The thunderstorms will be on the wet side by Monday over much of central and southern Nevada and Utah, and by Tuesday they should be generally wet across much of the area. Thunderstorms developed yesterday mainly over the higher elevations of central and eastern Utah. Fewer initial attack fires were observed yesterday across the Great Basin. The past 14 and 30 days worth of precipitation are shown here. There's not much difference in these two maps, with the bulk of the precipitation coming in the past 2 weeks, mainly to the higher elevations of the southern and eastern Great Basin. ERCs continue to remain high across the north, while they've been on the decline over the south and east. One area in particular has been increasing significantly over the last couple weeks. It's the mountains of central Idaho. Current values are tracking along the historical maximums for the time of year. 10-hour fuel moistures remain low, particularly over northern and central Nevada. This morning's satellite imagery shows general high pressure in place across much of the western U.S., with an area of low pressure off the Canadian coast. This will keep generally sunny skies and dry conditions in place over much of the Great Basin today. By this afternoon, some moisture will begin to creep up into the central Great Basin for an increase in some isolated mix of wet and dry thunderstorms over the southern Great Basin and even up into central and northeast Nevada by late this evening. Relative humidities will be in the single digits this afternoon, particularly over western Nevada. And coverage of some of those thunderstorms is shown on the map on the right, with the best chance for fire-causing thunderstorms coming to central and eastern Nevada. On Sunday, more moisture moves a bit further northward into Nevada for an increase in thunderstorm coverage. These storms will be a mix of wet and dry, but on the drier side, particularly over western Nevada. There's a chance we could see a few isolated dry thunderstorms over northern Utah as well. However, they'll likely be a bit too isolated to show on the map. Relative humidities will still remain quite low across much of the region. And here we see the thunderstorm coverage expanding to include most of the state of Nevada and a bit further north into northwest Utah. By Monday, the moisture continues to move northward up into Idaho for a good chance of some isolated dry thunderstorms in southern Idaho. Some of those thunderstorms will be on the dry side, continuing over far northern and northwest Nevada as well on Monday. However, points further south and east will see generally wet thunderstorms. Relative humidities will begin to come up across the south, with still a pretty dry air mass in place across the north. Thunderstorms will be possible across much of the area on Monday. 3-day precipitation accumulation totals are still fairly light with this increase in moisture. The best chance for precip will be over the southern Utah mountains and then up into portions of central and northern Nevada as that moisture moves through on Sunday and into Monday. On Tuesday, the air mass continues to moisten up, with more moisture moving northward into Idaho as well. No high-risk triggers have been issued for Tuesday yet, but there's a chance that some could be issued, particularly for the central Idaho mountains. Portions of eastern Nevada will moisten up enough to decrease the overall fire danger for a few days. On Wednesday, the moisture remains in place, particularly over the eastern half of the area, with some dryness beginning to move into far western Nevada. On Thursday, some dryness will continue to move into the western half of the area, while moisture lingers across the central and eastern portions. This remains the case on Friday as well. It looks like maybe we get another shot of some deeper moisture moving into the central Great Basin. Of course, this is the week out, and so the timing of this moisture could change between now and then. But it looks like through the bulk of the work week next week, thunderstorms will remain in the forecast for much of the Great Basin, if not at least the central and eastern portions. 7-day precipitation accumulations here are pretty good. relative to what we've seen the last few weeks, looking for the best chance over the higher elevations of central and eastern Utah, but also looking for some deeper moisture to move into central and eastern Nevada to decrease overall fire potential there for a little while. Western Nevada will still stay on the dry side, so any new initial attack fires that begin there won't expect to see any significant relief. The extended forecast for the first week of August continues to show an above normal temperature trend over much of the region, with below normal precipitation chances across the northern 2/3 and just that tongue of above normal precipitation moving into the far southern Great Basin. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.